Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of Ignition Time. Let's take a quick look at what's going on in the country, the economy, as well as our money. Let's start with an interesting clip featuring President Biden, where he's assuring European officials America is back. I have a very different view than my predecessor did. Wonder who he's talking about. Let's take a look at President Biden. Let's watch.
In America, in fact, we are committed. We have never fully left, but we're reasserting the fact that it's overwhelming the interest of the United States of America to have a great relationship with NATO and with the EU. I have a very different view than my predecessor did.
Now, the president could not help but also comment on the Republican Party. In fact, the president said this. He called the Republican Party leadership fractured. And he said, and he chose his words very carefully if you watch this clip carefully, he said the Trump wing of the party is the bulk of the party, but it makes up a significant minority of the American people. Let's watch.
The Republican Party is vastly diminished in numbers. The leadership of the Republican Party is fractured, and the Trump wing of the party is the bulk of the party, but it makes up a significant minority of the American people. And we'll see. We'll see.
Now, it's very clear that there are important Republican representatives because they represent their constituents, but some of them just doesn't make sense what they say. Let's take a look at the Republican Marjorie Taylor Greene, who's a Republican from Georgia. She would not say whether she's got the vaccine. She simply evaded the question and said, I stand with the Americans that want their privacy, and HIPAA gives us rights to privacy. Well, you're a public official, so you should be held to a higher standard, but I guess it's safe to hide behind things and evade important questions when you take hardline stances and when you're a troublemaker. Let's roll the tape and hear from the one and only troublemaker, Marjorie Taylor Greene. Let's watch.
I stand with the Americans that want their privacy, and HIPAA gives us rights to privacy with our medical information. And so I appreciate you asking, but that is my right to keep my medical information private.
In the next segment, a reporter calls out Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene about her use of the term China virus and asks, aren't you just feeding a spate of attacks against Asian Americans, because attacks against Asian Americans have been on the rise? To which Greene again evades the question and says, absolutely not. It has nothing to do with anyone's race. This is very classic race baiting from a troublemaker like Marjorie Taylor Greene. Let's watch.
You know, you call it the China virus. You suggest that it's a bioweapon. There's no evidence of any of that, and we're also in the middle of a spate of attacks against Asian Americans. Aren't you just feeding that pretty irresponsibly?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. And you're not going to turn this into something else. This is a virus that killed all kinds of people. It has nothing to do with anyone's race or ethnicity. It has nothing to do with any of that. So no, not at all.
And she's not done yet. She continues to cause trouble, and she has something called the Fire Fauci Act. Yep. And she says the Fire Fauci Act will bring Dr. Fauci's salary down to zero and also will require the Senate to confirm someone to fill his position. Again, pretty interesting comments from Marjorie Taylor Greene. Let's take a look, and I want you to be the judge.
The Fire Fauci Act will bring Dr. Fauci's salary down to zero and also will require the Senate to confirm someone to fill his position. You see, Dr. Fauci was not elected by the American people. He was not chosen to guide our economy. He was not chosen to rule over parents and their children's education.
Now, speaking of bizarre comments and downright hypocritical comments, let's take a look at the Senate Minority Leader, Mitch McConnell, who said he would not allow President Biden to fill a Supreme Court vacancy in 2024 if he's Majority Leader. I want you to watch this for yourself. And basically, the Senate Minority Leader said that keeping Scalia's seat vacant was the single most consequential thing I've done in my time as Majority Leader of the Senate. Wow. Let's roll the tape and hear from the Senate Minority Leader. Let's watch.
If you regain the majority in 2022 for the Republicans, and there's a very good chance of that happening. I'll come back to the individual races in a second. Would the rule that you applied in 2016 to the Scalia vacancy apply in 2024 to any vacancy that occurred then?
Well, I think in the middle of a presidential election, if you have a Senate of the opposite party of the president, you have to go back to the 1880s to find the last time a vacancy was filled. So I think it's highly unlikely. In fact, no, I don't think either party, if it were different from the president, would confirm a Supreme Court nominee in the middle of an election. What was different in 2020 was we were of the same party as the
Correct.
president, and that's why we went ahead with it.
Now, if you thought that was interesting, CNN's Manu Raju actually asked Mitch McConnell what he exactly meant. Would he actually block a Supreme Court nominee in 2023-24 if he's in the majority? And as you can see from his long, convoluted answer, it's very clear that McConnell, like every politician, is evading the question, and he goes on some sort of twisted logic about divided government when he simply refuses to answer the question. This is how politicians talk. This is the Senate Minority Leader, Mitch McConnell, in action. Let's watch.
Could you clarify your comments from yesterday about the Supreme Court? Are you saying that if you're the majority leader in 2023, if there's a vacancy in the Supreme Court, you will not move on a Biden nominee?
Yeah, when I made the decision I did back in 2016 with regard to a vacancy on the Supreme Court occurring in a presidential year, I was very much aware of the fact that when you had divided government, there had not been a nominee confirmed by a Senate of a different party from the president since the 1880s. I was also aware that Joe Biden, chairman of the Judiciary Committee in 1992, a time of divided government, had said, had a vacancy occurred, they would not fill it. So what I said yesterday, Manu, was simply to repeat the position I took in 2016. I'm absolutely confident if the shoe had been on the other foot, the other side would have done exactly the same thing.
2023.
Many threats facing our country, but the one big threat that's facing our country is not just certain types of politicians, but domestic terrorists. In fact, the Attorney General Merrick Garland just said that domestic terrorism and domestic terrorists fighting for, I quote, the superiority of the white race are the greatest threat to the United States. Let's roll the tape and watch Attorney General Merrick Garland.
The number of open FBI domestic terrorism investigations this year has increased significantly. According to an unclassified summary of the March intelligence assessment, the two most lethal elements of the domestic violence extremist threat are racially or ethnically motivated violent extremists and militia violent extremists. In the FBI's view, the top domestic violent extremist threat comes from racially or ethnically motivated violent extremists, specifically those who advocated for the superiority of the white race.
And finally, on a lighter note, let's take a look at the New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio eating Shake Shack. He enjoyed some fries and some other fast food during a press conference to announce free fries with vaccine promotion. And he's been, I guess he loves to eat before noon. And after these hypocritical comments from Republican lawmakers, let's take a look at the New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio eating Shake Shack to announce free fries with a vaccine promotion. Let's watch.
Free fries when you get vaccinated? I got vaccinated. You're saying I could get this? These delicious fries? Wait a minute. But there's also a burger element to this? Let me check with Bill Neathart. Is it too early in the day to eat a burger? No. This could be breakfast? Okay. I want you to look at this and think about, again, some people love hamburgers, some don't. Really want to respect all ways of life. But if this is appealing to you, just think of this when you think of vaccination. Vaccination. I'm getting a very good feeling about vaccination right this moment.
And if you thought that was interesting, here's another clip of the New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio eating pepperoni pizza at his 10 a.m. press conference to announce the winner of his ranked choice voting pizza poll. So he's eating pizza at 10 a.m. And by the way, he's a New Yorker. He should know how to fold his pizza. But let's watch the New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio.
I want to just take a bite here. I'll tell you what it feels like. Ranked choice voting. I didn't know it would be this delicious.
That's it, everyone. Everything that's going on in the world, what President Biden is saying, openly calling out the fractures within the Republican Party, while the crazies within the Republican Party emerge, including the extremely cunning, extremely strategic Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell and his long-term agenda, which is retaining control of the United States Senate and making sure the Supreme Court is always stacked with conservative judges amongst other courts all over the country. Please click the like button. Please subscribe. Please enable notifications. My name is Dr. Nitin Chhoda with Ignition Time. This right here is a little bit of information about me. You'll learn more about who I am, what my journey has been like, and why you should listen to me. I want you to know we work very hard on this channel. We are looking forward to seeing you soon. So please click the like button. Please subscribe. Please enable notifications. We would really appreciate that. Thank you so much for watching. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next episode of Ignition Time. Take care. Bye.